10 though, so I'm like, just eat it at this point.
I have a good friend who's a chef, and
we have to start over, Leah.
What? Okay.
Because Michael forgot to hit the go live button. He hit the stream button, not the go live button. So
okay.
Everybody who's watching, we're sorry.
We said is gone.
So sorry.
That's all right.
We're having a technology night. Okay, everybody. Sorry about that.
We'll just start from the top.
Just glad it wasn't me.
No, it's totally us tonight. Oh, hey, look, now Lindsay's here. Look, everybody can talk now because
we're half live.
We've been talking into the void. Awesome.
For like 10
Story
minutes.
Of my life. Yep.
I mean, I was having a good time.
So. Yeah, me too.
Okay, pick it up. Start from the top, Leah.
Okay. We apologize for the chaos that is happening right now. But so tonight, we are celebrating author Tracy Brogan and her release of My Kind of Perfect. Look, I even have the book tonight. Becky, would you like to read her bio again?
Yes, because I'm sure I'll screw it up the second time as well as I did the first time. USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author Tracy Brogan writes fun, funny stories full of laughter and love. A 3-time finalist for the Romance Writers of America Rita Award, Brogan has received 2 Amazon Publishing Diamond Awards, the Bookseller Best Award, and several Golden Quill Awards. Her debut novel, Crazy Little Thing, is on the top 10 Amazon all-time bestseller list. She's also been listed on the Wall Street Journal's bestsellers list, as well as the Amazon best-selling top 100 list 3 years in a row.
There's a lot of bestseller in there.
It was so much bestseller there.
It is a lot.
But it's fantastic.
Thank you.
In other news, she's a terrible cook, a clumsy dancer, and buys too many things from the Container Store. And again, I still love the Container Store.
I love the Container Store.
That is like a happy place right there.
I've never been in one.
She loves to hear from readers, so please visit her website at tracybrogan.com.
Okay, so hi, Heather. We are finally here also because we had some technical difficulties tonight. So we're doing over. Okay, so again, Tracy, what are you drinking tonight?
So because I'm from Michigan, I am drinking a Sheboygan Brewing Company Blood Orange Honey Beer. Not a huge beer drinker. I'm actually kind of a Moscow Mule girl.
I like a Moscow Mule.
Yeah, me too. But I figured, I'm here to represent Michigan, so drinking a Michigan beer, and it's delicious. It's nice and light.
And Becky, you have a drink now. What are you drinking now?
I'm not sure. It might be the drink I dreamed up last summer called Sex on the Bookcase. Oh, no, it's a love potion. Sorry, it's a love potion.
Oh, Mike makes those for you all the time.
He does. I do like them. They're fruity. And anyway, Leah, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Southern Tier IPA. Can you give me just a second to peek out? Yes.
Becky,
you have to take charge for just a second.
You do your thing. It's no big deal. Okay. So Tracy, I have put your link to Instagram, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put up the link to Tracy's Facebook page. Guys, go ahead and give her a follow. You can also find these links in the description of the show. If you like and follow throughout the night, somebody will win a prize from us. I have a book sleeve, the Girl Child made with a matching coffee wrap, and bullet journal full of planner book journal stickers from Peanut Butter Taco. So to help.
That looks awesome. I want to win the prize.
I know, right? I love.
I'm not qualified or disqualified, but
it's in they have an Etsy store and they have the best stickers. One of our followers that's joining us right now, she has been dying for the rainbow book stickers. She's like, Becky, I need one. So stuff might have gone in the mail to her just because, I can't say no to Lindsay. It's, story of my life.
Sorry, I had to turn expanders.
Oh.
You have to do it with the little key.
The little key, but it has like a handle on it now. So like it's not as weird and gross.
Yeah,
but
not as medieval. Yeah.
I'm the expander turner in the house. So my youngest was like standing there with it.
That's so
I
funny.
apologize for that.
I remember orthodontics, so yeah, I feel you.
Ugh.
Okay, so I put Tracy's Facebook link up there. So Tracy, let's get to know you. We asked before, so we're going to ask again now. Are you a self-professed terrible cook, or is it proven that you're a terrible cook?
So, as I mentioned before, I have said to my people that I'm a bad cook, and no one ever argues with me. So I feel like I have some data to back it up. And I think it's because I have some sort of aversion to actually following a recipe. I feel like there's no creativity in following a recipe. So that works okay if you're like making soup or something, but when you're baking or cooking something specific, you're supposed to follow the recipe to make it taste the same every time. And with us, it's just always a surprise because we never really know how it's going to taste.
It's
So
an adventure for their mouth every time.
It's always an adventure. And we always joke that if somebody's like, oh, this is really, really good. I'm like, yeah, well, too bad. I can't replicate it because I have no idea how I made it. So sorry.
I improvise a lot.
It's over there. Go ahead and cook yourself something. So
yeah, I don't follow a lot of recipes. I just kind of throw food together and hope it tastes okay. And it usually works out fine.
Yeah.
I really enjoy cooking, so it's fine.
I used to enjoy cooking, and then my second daughter came along, and she is super, super picky. She's actually much better now. Now she's 19. But when my kids were little, they were super picky, and I'm super picky. And it just really became difficult finding anything that everybody wanted to eat at one time. And that's still sort of an issue, but now they're both old enough where we all just kind of agree to eat at the same time, but chances are very good that we're eating completely different meals.
We have peanut butter in the house for a reason.
Oh yeah, lots of peanut butter. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of Cheerios still a lot of chicken tenders. And my girls are 19 and 21. I'm like, really?
I mean, my husband and I still eat the chicken nuggets, and I buy the Dino chicken nuggets because they're way more fun. So
do we. Yeah. Yeah. My college girls love those. So, and they even, they have them walk across the plate.
That's hilarious. I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old, but I just buy the boneless wings from Walmart.
You should treat them to some Dino wings or some Dino.
The Dino nuggets. You can buy the giant box at Costco. Yeah. Apparently they taste better than like the more expensive, like panko breaded like nuggets. So
probably because there's even less meat in them. It's just more breading.
Probably. That's like my youngest is a big fan of the school's chicken patties. So she was like, Mommy, can you buy some chicken patties for the house? I was like, yeah, I'll buy some. So I bought this big bag of like chicken patties. I made her one. I don't like how these taste. Like, okay.
Now you're stuck.
Like, I guess I'm eating chicken patties now.
Yeah.
No. I like a good chicken patty. I found spicy ones at Walmart. So.
Ooh.
So I make my own because, we haven't really been eating out much because of whatever.
Yeah.
So
Christina loves the Dino chicken nuggets too.
You all are a special brand.
All right.
Well, we are.
You're special. Okay, Tracy.
So anyway,
are you a reader of romance?
Absolutely. Of course.
You'd be surprised.
We have come across authors who they write it, but they don't read it.
Read it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Yes. Oh, I'm an avid reader. In fact, I have a copy here. I hope I'm not showing this prematurely, but this is the first romance novel I ever read called Island Flame by Karen Robards. It was published in 1981. It's held together with surgical tape. And I bought it at a gas station when I was 16, when my family and I were driving down from Michigan to Disney World in a Chevette. So I read this book in the back of a Chevette for 22 hours.
And then we pulled into the parking lot.
It was. And we pulled into Disney World, and I was like, I'm not getting out of the car. I have 6 pages left to read. So you guys are just going to have to wait. So I
had to dig it out. I have my original, the very first romance I ever read. Well, I have boxes of them, actually.
Yeah.
Because they were all Jude Devereaux's were mine, and you can see
I love them. Yes.
The Barbie. I have the Raider Jude Devereaux Barbie.
Nice.
She's my gig, but Yeah, I have my first romance ever was The Conquest by Jude Deveraux, which, in today's terms was actually really kind of forward thinking
Oh,
in historical romance. But
I can't remember what the first one of hers was that I read. I feel like it had velvet in the title.
okay, so there's like Highland Velvet, and there was like a
Yeah,
whole Velvet series. Then there was the whole River series.
yeah,
The Conquest, the one that I read, I think the Velvet series, like, because it was like Velvet Song, Velvet Highland. I think those are medieval also.
yeah, they might be.
I think,
I read them a really long time ago, so I don't quite remember, but she was always an auto buy for me.
yeah. Yeah. And see, people today do not understand the pain that us pre ebooks, and pre this indie author kind of renaissance, the pain that we used to have to go through. You could only find the books like twice a year, and you had to wait forever for paperbacks. It was too hard. I mean,
Yeah.
the wait list would be 7,000 years to get a book at the library.
And didn't Harlequin used to have like a subscription program? I mean, they might still.
That is how I read all of my romances, because my mom would get the cardboard box once a month, and there would be 4 or 5 books in it.
And it took you an hour and a half to read the whole book. Yeah. I think we might have had that, because I remember reading those. And then we read a lot of Barbara Cartland.
Okay, so Susie in our chat just asked, do you remember Barbara Cartland?
Yes, I loved Barbara Cartland, and every single one of her heroes looked exactly the same. They all were, virginal ingenues with oversized eyes and heart-shaped faces.
It was like a Disney princess.
Every single one, yes.
Oh my God, that's so
yeah.
I have to go. My mom still has all of the books that she's ever bought in the attic of their old house, where my sister lives there now. So I actually should have went up last weekend when I was there, but I need to go and just like hijack a whole bunch of these books and bring them to my house, because I don't remember like any of the titles or any of the books, because I was like 14 years old when I was reading these, which I should not have been reading them, but they were just I think
you were probably fine with the Barbara Cartlands. I think they pretty much were fade to black, and it's not like you'd be able to remember which story was which, because they were all very similar.
Pretty much the same, yeah. I remember a lot of them were all like very similar, but it's funny because we like to say that fade to black is a 4-letter word.
No.
we like the sexy. Bring this to me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like, we don't always feel like it has to be like graphic sexual descriptions. We just want to feel the intimacy. We want the flirting. We want the banter. We want the chemistry. Which is part of what gets me crazy when it's like a slow burn, because people, I need more flirting and banter if you're going to give me a slow burn, if I'm not getting to the sexy time. Anyway.
So I have one Scottish historical out there called Highland Surrender that I published in 2012. And when my daughter was 16, she really wanted to read it. So I let her read it. And that is definitely a slow burn book. And it was like midnight, and I was working in my office, and she comes into my doorway, and she like smacks the book against the door frame, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, can't they just do it already?"
It sounds like something Becky would say.
It totally does sound like something Becky would say. Like, I think Becky has done. I read a slow burn today, and I told Leah, I texted her, I was like, I was so proud of myself. I did not chuck my Kindle. Even though it took us a minute to get there, I stuck through it and I still loved it. But I'm such a baby about it.
So Tracy, do you have a favorite trope to read or to write?
As far as writing, I think probably my favorite trope is friends to lovers. And I don't know that I set out to write that many stories that are sort of friends to lovers, but I have a lot of beta heroes. They're sort of like Heather Snow coined a term. Oh, what was it? Belphas. So they're betas that have alpha tendencies. So they're as sexy as an alpha, but they're really a beta, which makes them a much better, romantic partner in real life. So I write a lot of Belphas. And then as far as
like
to
that.
read, yeah, I love that. As far as to read, I love enemies to lovers, but they can't, like, I don't want them to be super mean to each other. And I love like clandestine romances, you know, where it's like they have to encounter each other all the time, but for whatever reason, they have to keep their relationship a secret. I think that's super fun.
I think that can be fun too. That is,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't mind the push and pull of that in a relation, like in a story and stuff, because that can come off really well. I get a little frustrated with enemies to lovers because I just don't know. Some books are written, and I haven't really read any recently that were like this, but I get frustrated when they're like, I hate him, I hate him, I hate her, I hate her, and it's constant fighting. And the next thing they're like, oh, but we love each other.
Yeah, because it's just not healthy.
It's not normal either.
Yeah, and when I say enemies, it's more like Sherry Adair has this great term where she calls two dogs, one bone. So if it's like a hero and a heroine who are both fighting for the same thing, or they're in like a cooking competition together, or they're after the same job or something. So they have some friction, but that really just kind of adds to the attraction. So I definitely don't ever want them to hate each other, because if you hate somebody, there's probably a reason.
Yeah. Right.
So maybe don't go to bed with them.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Okay, so in the chat, I put the link to Tracy's Goodreads. You can follow her there and find out what books she has coming up on the horizon and all the good stuff there, and also look at her back catalog. I'm also adding to the chat Tracy's BookBub. So it helps authors when you follow them on BookBub and leave reviews there, but also just follow them. That helps with the algorithm and getting them into newsletters and all that good stuff.
I love BookBub. I always I get my email every day. Like, these are the sales. This is
you
free.
Just like a sale.
I do like a good sale.
I just
they always
updated
put those
that.
free books on there. It's nice.
I just updated our free and on sale list today because there were so many in the midweek drop this week. I was like, what are y'all doing over there? So that was good. Montlake had a ton.
I am new to BookBub. Like, I am very much a late adopter, and I've only been on BookBub for less than a year. And so I'm really scrambling to catch up because all of my peers are being followed by, thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. And I have like 1,000.
You got to start somewhere, though.
Please follow me on BookBub. Tell all your friends.
Give her a follow on BookBub.
So what was your inspiration for the Trillium Bay series?
So being from Michigan, I spent a lot of time up on Mackinac Island, which is, it's an island in northern Michigan in Lake Huron. It's 8 miles in circumference, and it has a year-round population of just 600 people. But in the summer, it's a huge tourist destination because it's all Victorian architecture. There's a million fudge shops and stuff like that. There's a couple of really, really fancy hotels. And one of the really cool things about it is there's no cars, because cars were banned in the 1890s and they've just never changed it. And so you go there and you get around by bike or on foot, or you take a horse carriage. So it's just super charming on Mackinac Island. And I had gone there a bunch of times when I was young. And then my kids and their dad went up there a bunch of times. And so when I had finished up my Bell Harbor series, I was trying to think of, some unique twist to a new series. And I thought, if I write about Mackinac Island, then we can go on vacation there and I can write it off on my taxes. So we were like, all right, let's do that. And so that was kind of how that story came to fruition. And as far as creating the dynamic with the 3 sisters, there's kind of a, there's definitely an atmosphere on Mackinac Island of what the people who live there all the time are like. They're kind of gruff. They put up with the tourists because they know they have to, but they kind of, I would imagine that's how it is up in Maine, or in Alaska. It's like they're very set in their ways. And so I had some super eccentric characters. And so I just kind of thought about what kind of people would live on an island year round. And then you have someone who grew up there, but then she left and now she's come back and she's trying to find her place in the family. So it's a story about going home again and figuring out if you can make that a good fit. And fortunately she does. So, and then there's 2 other sisters. And so I thought, all right, all 3 sisters will get their story. So the book that just came out yesterday is the 3rd sister.
Is there a reason you went with the sister group this time? Because your Bell Harbor series, it's a group of friends. So why go sisters?
So when I wrote Crazy Little Thing, which was the very first book that I ever published, it was actually the first manuscript I ever finished, because I started a million manuscripts and that was the first one I finished and it got published. And it never occurred to me that it would be a series. And so when my publisher was like, we want something very similar to this, we'd love it, another Bell Harbor book. That was kind of when I thought, all right, which characters from Crazy Little Thing can I bring into a new story? Because I had kind of resolved everything in that first book. Mm-hmm. And so that was when it became about the Connolly family and the brothers.
Okay.
So it was kind of, I never really set out specifically in Bell Harbor to write about relatives, but it worked out in that there were characters that you had heard about that were off the page that I thought, if I bring those characters in for book 3, you get to meet someone new and establish a new character. So that was kind of how that came about. Mm-hmm. And then with my Trillium Bay story, I did that because a lot of the families that live on Mackinac Island have lived there for 6 or 7 generations.
Okay.
And so it's like they're born there, they live there, you know, they might leave to go to college, they might not.
But they always come back.
I thought that was really, really cool. We had a carriage driver who was 26 and he had been born on the island and he was a 6th generation Mackinac Islander. And like that has really got to impact your perception of the world mm-hmm. if that's what you've lived your entire life. Not in a bad way, but just certainly it's going to impact you.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the people that live there are fairly brave people to live there year round. Yeah. Because those ferries shut down. I mean, they can have snow as early as like mid-September, and that ferry shuts down. And the bridge.
The ferry actually doesn't shut down until the end of December.
Oh, okay.
Because they have a big ice cutter. I've actually done a ton of research on this. If you'd asked me this 2 years ago, I would not have known. But they have ice cutter ferries. They're like snow plows on these huge ferries. So the ferries can get back and forth in the winter. And then in January, now this terrifies me, usually right around January, it's cold enough for Lake Michigan to have frozen over. So they will take snowmobiles from Mackinac Island over to St. Ignace. It's a 6-mile stretch over the lake. Yeah. And they like line it with cut down Christmas trees. And I'm like, it's kind of on my bucket list once in my life to go over the ice bridge, but I'll have to be like 89 and you know, pretty close to
that. Is like definite bucket list. Yeah, I don't know if you could pay me enough to go or something like that.
I don't think you could, but they do it. And so, yes, I think they are very brave people because they're definitely isolated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do Mackinac Island people consider themselves Oopers? Do they consider themselves Upper Peninsula?
Youpers?
Yeah.
Youpers.
Youpers, uppers.
You whatever. Ohio girl. It's a Youper.
I know, right? Youper. Yep. They're okay. They're a breed all their own. Just yes, so we're all clear.
They are. The Youpers definitely are. No, I don't think so. I think they consider themselves islanders.
They're on their own.
Yeah,
they're on their own island, literally.
I'm making an assumption, but yeah, it's a different vibe up north than it is over on the island.
Yeah. If you ever meet someone from the UP of Michigan and the way they talk, you'll be like, where are these people from? And they'll be like, the UP of Michigan. And you're like, oh, you're kind of special.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very like, it's kind of like the character from Fargo. What's her name? I love her. What's her name? The actress, Frances McDormand. They've got kind of that weird, kind of nasally affect to their voice, and you betcha, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But they're not like.
We are grossly generalizing, but right. I feel comfortable.
I feel incredibly comfortable saying that. I have several friends I have several friends that graduated from Michigan Tech up there.
That is way up there.
And then we have a couple friends that have children that are up there in their engineering program right now. So I feel fairly confident making that statement of
I think it's true. Yeah.
They're a little special. Okay, so I am going to put the link to Tracy's website. You can sign up for her newsletter on her website. Make sure you do that. That is very helpful to keep track of all the things going on in her world. Christina says my family's from Michigan, and that's so accurate. See?
All right. So now
there's no generalization.
Cross section, and everyone agrees. Yeah.
Michigan is a special place. Leah, do you have a game?
I do have a game. We're going to play this or that.
Excellent.
And if you want to participate in the chat, you're welcome to do that. I decided not to do Would You Rather tonight because sometimes that one gets a little out of hand.
It does. It does.
Okay. Chocolate or vanilla?
So am I supposed to answer?
Yes.
For me, chocolate all the way.
Are we talking cake or ice cream?
No, cake or ice cream is the next one. Just in general, chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla. Vanilla.
Okay, so cake or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Cake. Lindsay's like, this is my favorite segment.
And clearly, if we ever go to a birthday party together, we can share because we don't want to eat the same thing.
I actually really love marble cake, which is like the white cake and the chocolate cake mixed marbleized together. I actually do like that. And I like a corner piece with a lot of frosting.
I like an ice cream cake, so you get the best of both worlds.
All of this works for me. I would eat any of that.
Lindsay says chocolate and cake. Gretchen says ice cream. Christina says cake. Judy says cake. Christina says chocolate, and Gretchen says chocolate. Judy says
Heather
vanilla.
says marble for her.
I do like a marble cake. There's something special.
It's the best of both worlds.
It really is. Okay, what's next, Leah?
Bacon or sausage?
Oh, bacon. Ugh, I hate sausage.
She's like, what kind of question is that? She scoffed. Am I this or that?
Sorry,
Canadian?
I don't mean to have a visceral reaction to sausage, but I really hate sausage.
Canadian bacon.
That's
ham. Cheap. It's like ham.
It's all pork. That's what sausage is. That's what bacon is.
There is a general consensus in the chat. Bacon wins.
I said bacon, just the Canadian styled.
No, that doesn't count. That wasn't
little
the
circle
question.
discs of meaty goodness.
They are good. I like Canadian bacon.
Okay, wine or beer?
So here's the funny thing about me. I cannot drink wine anymore. And I think it's because I already drank my lifetime allotment of it when my kids were little. So I can't, like, it instantly gives me a headache and a stuffed up nose. And so I do drink beer occasionally, but really I am a vodka girl. I know that wasn't a choice, but
Becky is a vodka girl. Becky's below me, so I'm pointing on my screen.
That was going to be my answer, vodka.
Yeah.
Like, why are we having this conversation? Like, my typical go-to drink is a vodka gimlet. Like, bring it on. Mm-hmm. I love me some cold vodka, with a little bit of lime and some sugar water.
So can I segue into a short story about vodka?
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
I had a fifth of vodka in my freezer to keep it nice and cold. And my daughter was about 16 at the time. And I went to make myself a drink and I pulled my fifth of vodka out of the freezer and it was frozen solid. And I put it on the counter and I said, do you know what doesn't freeze? Alcohol. Do you know what does freeze? Water. She was like, oops. So yeah, they had diluted my Tito's with water.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Don't mess with mommy's vodka, like
the Tito's at top of that.
Yeah.
So we're a theater family in our house, and one of the things that is theater families you always have is vodka, because if your child has like a heavy furred costume or something, the way to get the smell of, because when you're under lights and the heat and stuff and you sweat into it. So if you have like a animal costume or something that's like a heavy furred costume, the way to isolate and get rid of the smell is to spray it with vodka. And I will never forget the first time I was younger and I was in high school and we were doing a show and the director, she was pouring vodka into the spray bottle. And I'm like, are you supposed to do that at school?
One for the spray bottle, one for me.
Right. I was like, are you supposed to do that at school? She's like, it's for the costumes. And I thought at that moment, I'm like, I want to be a theater director. You get to drink on the job.
I've never heard that. I wonder if that would work for a hockey uniform.
Probably.
Because those things can get pretty rank too.
The worst was we did a production of Shrek the Musical, and the donkey costume, the young man that was the donkey, you know, teenage boy wearing a fur costume under theater lights, dancing and singing around. It was
right.
Stinky. So every night we'd hang it up and spray it full of vodka.
That is really funny. I've never heard of that. I'm going to have to find something smelly just so I can see if that works.
Test the theory out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we drank high school vodka.
Tito's. I'm gonna get some Smirnoff. I'm not using my Tito's.
Don't even get smeared off. Get the like plastic jug on the way bottom shelf that says like Polish vodka.
$5.99 for a gallon. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Something my husband would buy. It's like it was cheap. It's like, yeah, it tasted too.
And it's gonna give you a bad hangover. Yeah.
Okay. Summer or winter?
You know, so as a rule, I don't go outside. So it doesn't impact me in a big way. And I love winter holidays. But being from Michigan, I can say that from like the end of January through the May is agony. So I guess I'm going to have to go with summer.
I like winter. As I'm sitting here, you know, in the middle of a hot flash, you know, we don't have air conditioning.
It's really hot in Michigan today, and it's like hot.
It was hot. It was stormy here.
Yeah, we had some storms. Yeah.
We have like August humidity in freaking June.
It's been
like, that's how it was here today too.
Our mushrooms, we have mushrooms growing in the backyard, which we have a tortoise. So we have to go out and clear the yard to make sure that there are no mushrooms that he will eat because they're poisonous for him, and rope him into his little area. And
this is so educational. I'm learning so much.
You're so good to Perry.
Yeah.
I'm so good to Perry.
Yeah.
The damn tortoise.
Okay. So roller skating or ice skating? And I like how I'm doing this every time.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
You're like...
So I, along with not going outside, I'm not very athletic. I have literally never ice skated in my life because I was the youngest kid in my whole generation. I have a ton of cousins, but I was the youngest and I was the little kid. And so the big kids would go off and go ice skating and I would get left at home. I was still bitter about it. So I never learned how to ice skate. So I've never done it. And I've roller skated I haven't roller skated probably since middle school. So I guess I'm going to go with ice skating because someday I'm going to learn how to do it. So there.
It's a good goal.
I've done both, and I like to call it falling down gracefully. That's what I do.
I have a friend who took a pole dancing class, one single pole dancing class. It's Sally Kilpatrick. She's a fabulous author. I love her to death. So you should check out her book, Sally Kilpatrick. But she took one single pole dancing class and she kept falling. And the instructor said to her, it doesn't matter how you fall as long as you get up sexy. So that's the policy. As long as you get up sexy, it doesn't matter if you fall down.
Yeah, so, I'm not doing pole dancing either. I'd give myself a concussion. Like legit people. We are lucky that walking from my office to my couch to doing the dishes to the bathroom that I don't constantly have a concussion. So
yeah, I'm not particularly graceful.
That is not my middle name.
So far, we've established that I'm an indoor girl, I'm clumsy, and I can't cook. Are we going to say anything nice about me?
I was going to say, I feel like we're just tearing her down. She likes chocolate.
No, I'm volunteering the information.
She has a lot of bestseller books.
Well, there
it's
we
about
go.
The books.
Yeah, I'm inside writing, so that's my excuse.
Okay. Ocean or pool?
That's a tough one too,
because
because
it's outside.
yeah, because we used to rent a big cottage with a bunch of other couples that was on the ocean, but it would have a pool. So I love a pool, but I gotta say ocean. There's nothing.
See,
better
I like a
ocean.
pool near the ocean because I don't like the
Yes,
sand.
right.
But I like being at the beach because I like the smell of like the beach. I don't like sand.
Yeah. And I can't I don't want to go in a lake, which I know is ironic because I am surrounded by lakes in Michigan. And I don't count, I can go in any of the Great Lakes, but I don't like smaller lakes that are like brown and where like you can't see your feet when you're in the water. Cause I'm just sure something's gonna like.
See, it's funny because my husband grew up on Lake Erie. We do not go in Lake Erie. Like
Lake Erie would be the one I probably wouldn't go in. I don't know if it's by Detroit or what, but yeah. But Lake Michigan is lovely to swim in. It's, usually. It's usually lovely.
I don't mind the ocean, but you're right. Sand gets in everywhere.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law used to say she likes the ocean, but only when you can see the bottom, because then you can see all the gross things that are swimming around you and avoid them.
True story. True story.
Okay. So fries or onion rings?
Onion rings. I'm super picky about my French fries and not at all picky about my onion rings.
And I am picky about my onion rings, but not super picky about my French fries. But I do like an onion ring, but I want beer battered and I want them crispy, almost to the point of like burnt. I do not want them soggy. That has been the worst part of not eating in restaurants for the last 18 months. Soggy fried food.
Yeah.
So we actually went and bought a fryer so that we could have like French fries that were fried, that were fresh and hot. And I like a good steak fry. Anyway.
I do too. I made steak fries one night and my kids were like, why is this fry so big?
They're the best.
Like, it's a steak fry. Why is it called a steak fry? I don't know. That's just
because it looks like a steak that you can drink.
Like, just eat the fry, kid.
Yeah. Put some ketchup on it. Eat your French fries.
Yeah, Lindsay says she served onion rings as an appetizer at her wedding and people lost their mind over them.
That's amazing.
That is
awesome.
That is brilliant. I love that. Yeah. Was it because of like the ring part of it? Was it like a play on words or was it just because she loved onion rings?
Lindsay, why did we serve onion rings at our wedding? I'll tell you a funny story. I have one child that will only eat crinkle fries and another child that will only eat steak fries. And so then I just split the difference and make the tater tots.
Yeah.
Mine won't eat tater tots.
I love a good tater tot. Lindsay says no, because they were just delicious. That's the only reason.
That's even
I think
better.
that's a good enough reason. Yeah.
I love that. And I can totally picture that.
Lindsay's gonna be like, what symbolism? They're just delicious.
I had a friend who came to a neighborhood potluck and she brought Twinkies and everyone was mocking her for bringing Twinkies. But, I got to tell you, we ate the Twinkies and we were like, oh my God, these are actually really good. She had them like cut up into bite-sized pieces and stuff, but we did mock her quite mercilessly.
But everybody ate the Twinkies.
And then we ate them. Yeah. So
now so I homeschool my children now, but I did it pre-pandemic. We had other reasons that we homeschooled. So I homeschool my children, but when they were in traditional school, I remember when my boy child was in kindergarten, this one mom was animate that she had to sign up for frosted cut out sugar cookies. Like she really wanted that sign up for like a class party or whatever. She fucking sent in Loft House cookies. I was like, if you're going to sign up for that and be adamant that this is the item you have to have, at least go to the good bakery in town. Don't buy the shit with the peel off frosting. Anyway, I hate Loft House cookies and my kids get them and they think that they're like this most special treat. And I'm like, what the freak is wrong with you people?
Like the dust, the flour dust on the bottom. Yes. Yeah, I find them quite dry and crumbly. I will certainly eat them if they're in my house, but
okay, that's beside the point, but I make an effort not to buy them. But I'm also the person that has like a sugar cookie cutout recipe that makes like 12 dozen cookies. So we tend to burn ourselves out on cutout cookies fairly quickly around here. But yeah, like don't send in Loft House cookies, people. So Lindsay, what I'm saying is if I ever come to your house, do not serve me Loft House cookies. They're gross.
But you can serve onion rings.
But you can make onion rings for me.
You invite yourself to Lindsay's house.
She invited us last weekend.
It's true, she did.
For her birthday.
Okay, so pancakes or waffles?
As Donkey says, everybody loves waffles.
Everybody does love waffles. I like good waffles. I want there to be like the crunch factor and the softness. But there's this restaurant near me that has this almond flavored homemade syrup, and they make the best pancakes. So I think I'm probably more apt to order pancakes than I am to order waffles.
I like me some
But
waffles, though.
if you get chocolate chip Eggo waffles and you toast them and you use them to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's really good.
It's good with peanut butter and Nutella also.
Yes, and Nutella. See, I'm a good cook.
Chicken and waffles. Gretchen says chicken and waffles. I love some chicken and waffles. I love waffles. I can go on and on about my love of waffles. In this house, nobody else really likes waffles. They'll eat the frozen waffles, but fun fact, my children do not cook the frozen waffles. We only eat them frozen.
Oh yeah, my daughters used to eat them frozen. Yeah.
Well, so our son, he needed all the calories he could get when he was an infant. And the doctor suggested Eggo Waffle used to make waffle sticks when he was an infant.
Those. Yep.
And he suggested that instead of teething biscuits, there were more calories in the Eggo waffle sticks. And so he suggested that we use those as teething biscuits frozen, that they would be good on his gums and that and frozen peas. So that's what we used was frozen. So my kids really, I never really cooked the waffles because that's what we used for teething. So we don't cook the frozen waffles. Leah, stop it. Okay, give us one more, this or that.
Card games or board games?
That's a tough one. Honestly, it depends. I keep deviating from the actual yes or no answer, but for me, it depends on who I'm playing with. Because if I'm playing with my one sister, I have two sisters, but if I'm playing with a particular sister, I will play cards, but I won't play board games with her because she insists on moving everybody's pieces. You get to roll the dice, but she has to move all the pieces. So she's annoying to play board games with. But
I could not play with her either.
Yeah.
That would drive me bananas.
Yeah. But my 19-year-old and I play Sorry still all the time. So I love board games with her.
I like a good game of Sorry.
Yeah.
It's intense in my house.
It does. Yeah. And then we always go, sorry. Like, you're not sorry.
See, we draw it out. We're like, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our house, we're big tabletop gamers, so we go to the local game shop and buy all the obscure and weird board games. Like we played this all weekend. We played this 5-minute mystery. It's a 5-minute game, and you have to like figure out who the culprit is of whatever caper has been given to you on the instructions. It's really a lot of fun, and it's cooperative. Fun. So we, and then we also played Scooby-Doo's Mystery Mansion, and you have to solve a Scooby-Doo mystery.
I just bought this new game because the book I'm writing right now is also set on my fictional version of Mackinac Island, but it's set in 1888. And so I was researching like Victorian parlor games, and there's this game called Crokinole, which I might be mispronouncing, but it's like a tabletop shuffleboard. And so it's this huge round board that you lay flat, and it's got these little pegs, and then you get these little discs, and you have to like push them, and you try and get points because you have to get them into the center of the board. And I haven't actually played it yet, and the board is huge. It's like,
that sounds fun.
It's big. Yeah, it looks really fun. I need to get a group to play with that. And I ordered it off of Amazon because I had researched. Apparently it's a Canadian game, so I don't know if the average Canadian family already has this or what, but I'd never heard of it before.
I never heard of that either.
So she has heard of it, and she's in California. So
okay. All right.
I saw on TikTok, because TikTok, like a tabletop version of, some people call it bags, other people call it cornhole. I don't know.
Oh yeah. We call it cornhole in Michigan.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, do you remember the paper football game with the triangle paper and you had to flick it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that. There's like a catapult that you like have to catapult your little filled bag over to the board that's on the other side of the table. And I said to my husband, this will be fantastic when we're ready to go back to like the brewery and sit in the restaurants and stuff. So
I was going to say, it sounds like a drinking game to me, but
yes, it probably is.
Just about anything is a drinking game if you want it to be. So
really, any reason to drink is good for me. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to put, I think everyone here tonight has heard our spiel, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. I put our link to Patreon. We fund the podcast completely off of our Patreon right now. And we have cool events like this Saturday. We have Drunk Book Club. And it's a pretty fun community. We do a lot of good things, and it helps support the podcast so we can bring you fun events like this. So that's the link. You can check it out. We have openings in our $5 and $10 tiers. So there's that. That's all I have, Leah.
Okay. So Tracy, what is next?
So as you mentioned, I just had a book come out yesterday called My Kind of Perfect. So right now I'm working on promoting that and hoping that everyone on the planet buys a copy. That would be swell. And then, so what I'm working on right now is another 3-book series set in the same location as this one. But as I mentioned, it's set in 1888.
Okay.
And so all of the family names that you read about in the Trillium Bay series, you're hearing about their ancestors and how they ended up on the island and what kind of people they were. And it's been really, really fun to work on these characters because I write a lot of super eccentric characters. And so it's fun, like taking these eccentric characters from 2020 and going back and thinking, okay, what was it like 3 or 4 generations back, 100 years ago? And what, how did this person in the modern day end up, what was their origin story? And so that's been really fun to create the ancestors of all these people. And the other fun thing is there's all these buildings, obviously, in 2020. And so in the 1880s, that was really when Mackinac Island was starting to get populated. And when rich lumber barons were building, these cottages that were 6,000 square feet. And 1887 is the year that the Grand Hotel opened up. So the whole book is about everyone going to this, I call it the Imperial Hotel, very tricky. And so all the people in this book are staying at the Imperial Hotel, and it has just opened up, and there's, lots of chaos about opening up the resort and all of that. So that's what I am working on right now, and I'm loving it.
Does it have the big porch?
Back to the beginnings.
Are you giving it the big porch?
Yes, of course. The 600-foot wide front porch. Absolutely.
It just sounds like an amazing porch.
It is the most amazing porch.
Drink my coffee on that porch.
Yeah.
It's a very cool place. If you've never visited, totally, Mackinac Island is worth the trip. It really is. Quite a treasure, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We may have to take a vacation there.
It's fun too.
Go back into vacation mode.
There's no vehicles. So everything is horse-drawn carriages, bicycles. You rent bicycles. You walk everywhere. It's really a lot of fun. It's a pretty cool place.
It really is. And even in August, it's very rarely hot there because it's an island in the middle of a huge lake, so you get breezes from every direction. Yeah. So it's a great place to go.
It is. It's beautiful too. And the lake it's a very nice, clean area too. So they've kept up on preserving the shore around the island and stuff too. That makes it very nice.
They really have. Yeah. I think 85% of the island is actually national park. And a lot of the huge houses and cottages that are built there are actually on park land. And so they have to pay, they rent their land, but they own the house.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird setup, but yeah, it's a really amazing place to go. I should be getting kickbacks from,
you totally should.
Because, yeah.
So one of the things that we've started, so if you guys are watching and you haven't clicked to subscribe to the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do that. One of the things that we have also added are these buzzing about romance conversation cards. I went looking for like conversation cards for our podcast that might be book related, and I couldn't find any. They were like for couples or for nights out and stuff like that, but there weren't any really specific to book clubs or to like ladies' night out. So I decided to make my own. So we are going to ask you a question from one of our buzzing about romance conversation cards. Why we're doing that, if you guys are still following along in the chat, go ahead and give us a hey so we can take your name down and get you entered in to win the flamingo book sleeve, the book journal, and the coffee sleeve. Okay, so tonight's question is, what is the most interesting way someone has said I love you in a book? It can be one you wrote or one you've read.
Oh, that's a stumper. The most interesting.
My phone friend.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It's that. Yeah, that's a tough one. Like I know when he's my ex-husband now. But when I was dating my future husband, I remember the first time he said, I love you, because we were sitting at BW3's, Buffalo Wild Wings, so, super romantic place. And his friend was taunting him to say it. And so he finally said, I think I might love you. And I said, well, why don't you let me know when you're sure? Like, I didn't know how to respond to that. And then he's like, no, I'm pretty sure. And then we did end up married, and we had 20 great years, and we're still good friends and all that. But so that's the time that I remember. But yeah, I'm kind of stumped on that. It's an excellent question, but I'm stumped.
There's a line in Whitney, My Love, which is a Judith McNaught historical romance. And the Duke of Claiborne says to Whitney, he said, my heart beat for the first time I saw you. When I first saw you, my heart beat for the first time. So that was the best time. That's my best I love you line.
Yeah, that's
I know what my favorite I love you line is.
What is your favorite I love you line?
When Han Solo says, I know. And I'm not being like facetious. I really do love that part.
It is, because it's a great moment. And
I mean, it's Harrison Ford.
And I've heard that like they had a discussion about that, because he was supposed to say I love you back. And he like argued with Spielberg, because he was like, no, I don't.
He wouldn't say that.
Yeah, this is what I'm gonna say. So
it is a very Han Solo line.
It is, but it is used. Like I read a book, I think last week, that Han soloed somebody. Like
Han soloed somebody.
Like it lives.
All right, so I came up. No, I just remembered one. This helped prompt one. Do you guys watch Schitt's Creek?
Yes, I love that show. It is so funny.
So when David says to Patrick, "You are my Mariah Carey," that's like the most romantic. I think that they had like the most romantic relationship I've ever seen on TV. Yes, I do too. They are perfect together. I love watching them. I was really bummed when I found out that Noah Reed had gone off and married someone else, because I really wanted them to be together in real life.
Lindsay says, I love David and Patrick. Christina says it's such a good line. And Gretchen says the Grip series by Kennedy Ryan has a really good I love you line in it. Okay, so Tracy, pick a number between 1 and 6.
5.
So our winner this evening is Judy. Judy,
Congratulations, Judy.
You can email me at info@bookcaseandcoffee.com and send me your address, and I will get this prize box out in the mail to you.
Can I also ask Judy to email me, and I will give her my brand new tote bag that just arrived at my house yesterday.
Those are cute.
Yeah,
Those are super cute.
I'm really excited about it. It's got all my titles on the back. So Judy, send me an email and mention this podcast, and I will send one of these to you as well.
Well, Judy, if you just email me all that information, I can forward it on to Tracy myself too, so that make sure she gets it.
That would
gets
also
all your
work.
information. So just email us, Judy, at info@bookcaseandcoffee, and I will forward. Oh my gosh, words got hard. Now we know it's time to go.
You did
I will
really
forward
good tonight.
the information on. I did do really good.
It's because we had the second take.
That's right. I got all the wiggles out early on. For those of you playing Summer Reading Challenge, I might have given a hint over my shoulder. Other side.
There you go.
This is so confusing to me as to what the theme for this week's giveaway in our Summer Reading Challenge is. So in case you all were wondering about what your bingos could win you this week. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. We were delighted to have you.
And thank you everybody who joined us as well.
This was super, super fun. Now I will come back anytime you'll have me.
Well, just send us an email and we'll work it out. So we are happy to have you anytime. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching. And a new episode drops tomorrow, Corset and Crown edition, and then new Buzzing About Romance on Sunday. So we'll talk to you all later.
Happy reading, everybody.
Happy reading, everybody. Bye.